Hello guys, welcome to CA Dreams YouTube channel. So I hope that you all are doing very great and your preparations are going really good, and also you all are healthy and fit and safe at your homes. And I'm really very sorry I could not upload videos from a very long time because I am a little busy, but I'm trying my best to gather some time to have some time for these videos. Okay, so today I have managed some time for this video, and I have uploaded one lecture uh, of this company audit in English and two lectures in Hindi. Okay, so this lecture will be in English and this will be from the fifth disqualification. We were on the disqualifications part, and I have already discussed with the other disqualifications in the Hindi lecture. So those who want to view the lecture in Hindi, they can go to the lecture number 2 in Hindi. I have already mentioned that lecture number 2 in Hindi. And those who want the lecture in English, so this video is for you. Okay, and if you have not studied audit from a long time, or you have forgotten all this, so what you should do is you should just pause the video and you should first revise till here. If you are facing any problem, then just go to my first lecture and view that lecture. After that, come to this lecture, because a flow is very necessary to be maintained, else you will not be able to understand. Okay, so that is why I am starting with the fifth disqualification, but you have to revise till fourth disqualification. After that you should view this lecture. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get started, and I'll try my best to upload more videos very soon. Okay, so the fifth disqualification talks about a person. So let's take an example. A person is Mr. A. Okay, and a company, or we should take any name, any random name. Let's take A for Amit. Okay, Mr. Amit. Okay, if any Amit is seeing this, please do comment that, ma'am, I am Amit. Okay, and a company. Let's say company is XYZ. Okay, so company is XYZ and Amit is a person. Okay, so a person or a firm. Now Amit is a person, it can be a firm also. Okay, who whether directly or indirectly has business relationship with the company. Now before discussing with the further point, first let me tell you that what is business relationship. So come here. Business relationship shall be construed as any transaction entered into for a commercial purpose. So any transaction that is for a commercial purpose is your business relationship. Okay, now there are two exceptions also. I'll discuss these exceptions afterwards, but now let's move on to the above point. So I guess you are clear with this. It is very simple. Any transactions which is done for a for a commercial purpose, that means to earn money. That means the person is the customer and the company is the ultimate seller. Okay, basically this is what a business relationship. That means there is any business transaction between the company and the person. So if there is any business relationship, now this can be directly or indirectly. That means if any family member, if any relative of Amit is linked with the company in a business relationship, or Amit directly is linked with the company. Okay, Amit directly has a business relationship with the company, or how is he indirectly related? If any of his relative is linked with the company. Okay, so he will become disqualified to become a auditor. Now this company also includes its subsidiary, its holding, its associate, and subsidiary of such holding or such associate company. Okay, so if Amit or his relative or anyone, that means Amit either directly or indirectly has a business relationship in the company XYZ, in the XYZ subsidiary, in the XYZ holding, in the XYZ associate, or the subsidiary of XYZ holding or XYZ associate. Okay, I guess you are able to understand. Let me make this chart for you. Where should I make? Yeah, XYZ. Okay, now XYZ holding, XYZ subsidiary, XYZ associate. Okay, now subsidiary of such holding company and subsidiary of such holding company. So if Mr. Amit is directly or indirectly has a business relationship in any of these, then he will become disqualified to become the auditor of that company. Okay, now this disqualification has some exceptions. That means if this business relationship is of these two kinds, then he will remain qualified to become the auditor. Now let's discuss that what are these business relationships. So these business relationship that comes under exception. That means if Mr. Amit is involved in any of these two, if Mr. Amit has a business relationship in these two categories, then he will remain qualified to become the auditor. So please don't get confused in the question paper. If it is mentioned that whether it is this or this, then he will still remain qualified. But if there is any other business relationship except these two, then he will be disqualified to become the auditor. Okay, please try to make the difference of the business relationship. This is very important. Please highlight it. Okay, yeah, so let's read out what are the exceptions. That means if this will be business relationship, means the business relationship will involve these two, then he will remain qualified to become the auditor. Now let's read what it is. So commercial transactions which are in the nature of professional services which are permitted to be rendered by an auditor or audit firm under the Act. That means the nature of professional services. Now if it is any professional services, then it still remains for a commercial purpose only. Okay, but because it comes into an exception, so there is some there are some terms and conditions also. Now what are those terms and conditions? That those professional services should be permitted to be rendered under the Chartered Accountants Act. Okay, so if there are some nature of, now what are professional services? You all know, doctor, teacher, all these are professionals only. Okay, now suppose Mr. Amit, I'm just taking an example. Okay, now suppose the professional service of teaching is permitted by Chartered Accountants Act to be rendered. Okay, suppose it is permitted. Okay, suppose it is permitted. I'm taking an example. Suppose Chartered Accountants Act, under this act it is mentioned that the professional service of teaching will be permitted to be rendered. Now suppose Mr. Amit, okay, Mr. Amit is directly related to XYZ. That means Mr. Amit is a teacher, or the any person in the company is a teacher, and Amit's children are studying with that teacher. Okay, from that teacher. So what will happen? If it is permitted by Chartered Accountants Act, then in spite of having a business relationship, Mr. Amit will still be qualified to become the auditor. But the terms and conditions are that it should be permitted to be rendered under the Chartered Accountants Act. So this permitted word is very important. In the exam, they may mention that it is in the nature of professional services but not permitted to be rendered under. Now you will skip the word not and your whole answer will become wrong. So please try to read out each and every word very carefully. Okay, I hope I'm clear till here. Now let's move on to the next exception. Before reading out with this exception, let me show you a picture so that the term will be crystal clear to you all. So just give me 1 minute. Let me switch over to that picture. So guys, this is a picture. Now you can see that this man, okay, this man, what is he doing? He's not looking at the face of this man. That means he's just focusing on this document which he has in his hand, and he's not looking at even the face. He's saying that don't show me your face. He's just putting his hand on the face of that other man, and he's concentrating on the document which he has. Now what is this? This is arm's length price. Now let's come back to the topic, and this will be clear to you what is described in this picture. So they have mentioned commercial transactions which are in the ordinary course of business of the company at arm's length price. Now those commercial transactions which are in the ordinary course of business, that means they are usually done in the business, but they should be at arm's length price. Now what is arm's length price? Arm's length price is that whatever the situation, whoever the person, the situations, the price will remain the same for that person. Now what actually happens is, suppose we have a business of anything. Okay, now if a relative comes, okay, a close friend comes, then we charge other prices for that, then we charge some lower prices from that person. But if it is any unknown, if that person is a customer of us and he's not specifically related to us, then we charge a bit higher price. That means we try to earn more and more profit from an unknown, irrespective sorry in spite instead of a close friend. Okay, if it is a close friend, then we means don't bother about profits much, and we try to charge some lower prices. So what do? We do some partiality, right? We charge higher prices from unknown, but we are charging lower prices from our relative. But this should not be done here. The prices should be at arm's length price. That means whatever the situation, whoever the person, the prices will remain the same. Like sale of products or services to the auditor as a customer in the ordinary course of business. Now because he is the auditor of the company, it should not happen that we are giving him some gifts or we are charging some lower prices from other. It should not happen. The price should remain the same, should be at arm's length price with the auditor also. And if there is any business transactions in the ordinary course of business, okay, by companies engaged in the business of telecommunications, airlines, hospitals, hotels, and such other similar businesses. Now what does this ordinary course of business include? It includes telecommunication, airlines, hospital, hotel. So this all is included in this. So if the business relationship is in the nature of professional services or in the ordinary course of business at arm's length price, then either the in spite the auditor is associated, in spite the person is associated, in spite of that fact also, he will remain qualified to become the auditor of that company. But if there is any business relationship except these two, then he will become disqualified. Okay, I hope I am clear. And if you are facing any kind of difficulty, then please do comment. I'll repeat the topic also. Okay, I can repeat the topic also, so you just don't need to hesitate for anything. I'm ready to help you all. You just need to put some efforts to comment down. Okay, now moving on to the sixth disqualification. And please guys, this involves a lot of energy to speak in both the languages especially. So I just want to you all to support me. Okay, you just let me know that where I'm going wrong, where I'm going right. Okay, so that I also come to know that what are my weaknesses and what are my strengths. Okay, now moving on to the sixth disqualification. A person whose relative is a director or is in the employment of the company as a director or key managerial personnel. That means a person whose relative is a director. That means in our case, who was the person? Mr. Amit. So whose relative is a director. Okay, that means Mr. Amit's daughter, Mr. Amit's wife, any relative is a director or is in the employment of the company, okay, as a director or key managerial person. So that means if that person is at a higher post in that company, so that person will become disqualified. Because you only think now, suppose if I am the person who wants to become the auditor, and if my relative is a director or is a key managerial personnel of that company, so what I will do, because it is my relative's company, then what I will do, I will be partial to that company. And will I be able to give justice to audit? No. So that is why these disqualifications consider all these facts, and accordingly these disqualifications are implemented. Okay, moving on to the next disqualification. A person who is in full-time employment elsewhere, or a person or a partner of a firm holding appointment as its auditor, if such person or partner is at the date of such appointment or reappointment holding appointment as auditor of more than 20 companies other than OPC, dormant, a small private having paid up share capital less than 100 crores. Now this is so confusing and we could not understand even a single word, right? Don't panic. I'll explain you. Okay. See, first line they are saying a person who is in full-time employment elsewhere. That means he is the auditor of XYZ company. Let's take the same example. Mr. Amit is in the full-time employment elsewhere, and also he is the auditor of XYZ Limited. Okay, or a person or a partner of a firm. That means, or a person or a partner of a firm. If it is a firm, if it is an audit firm, then the partner of that audit firm holding appointment as its auditor. That means Mr. Amit is holding appointment in XYZ Limited, and along with that he is in full-time employment elsewhere. Okay. So if such person or partner is at date of such appointment, that means the date when he is appointed as auditor or he is reappointed as auditor, holding appointment as auditor of more than 20 companies. Okay. So if Mr. Amit at the date of appointment in XYZ Limited as an auditor is the auditor of more than 20 companies, then he will become disqualified to be the auditor of XYZ Limited. That means a single person can be an auditor in 20 companies, but not more than that. Okay. So if it is the situation, then he will become disqualified. Okay. But these 20 companies also do not include, that means the person, if suppose Mr. Amit has 18 other companies, okay, and 3 these type of companies, that means 1 OPC, 1 small company and 1 private company whose paid up share capital is less than 100 crore, then although the total will become 21, but because these 3 comes in the exception, so that is why these will not be counted in the limit of 20. So these 20 companies come other than these companies, that means OPC, dormant company, small company and private companies are excluded in it. Okay. These are not included in these 20 companies. So Mr. Amit can hold any number of he can be auditor in these companies except that 20 companies also. Okay. So holding appointment as auditor of more than 20 companies other than one person company, dormant company, small company, private company having paid up share capital less than 100 crore. So if the limit exceeds 20, then he will become disqualified, and if the limit is under 20, or if that limit is greater than 20 but it includes all these companies, then he will remain qualified to become the auditor, and if it exceeds 20, then he will become disqualified to become the auditor. Okay. So this also has some exceptions. Okay. So please just mark these this disqualification as well as this disqualification, because it has a qualification within the disqualification, because there are exceptions now. So that is why please mark these, star mark these points. Now the next point is, a person who has been convicted by a court or of an offence involving fraud and a period of 10 years has not elapsed from the date of such conviction. That means a person who was punished by the court because of fraud and 10 years have not been elapsed, means 10 years have not been passed when he was punished, when he was convicted, so he will be disqualified to become the auditor. But if 10 years have elapsed, then he can become the auditor of the company. Now next point says, a person who directly or indirectly renders any services referred to section number 144 of the company or its holding company or its subsidiary company. Now if a person directly or indirectly is involved in the rendered services that are mentioned in section number 4, okay, renders any services referred to in section number 144, then he will become disqualified. Now what are the section number 144 services? So these are accounting and bookkeeping services, internal audit, design and implementation of any financial information system, actuarial services, investment advisory services, investment banking services. So these are the services. So if the person is directly or indirectly involved in these services, then he will become disqualified to become the auditor. It may be noted that for the purpose of this clause, the term directly or indirectly shall have the same meaning as assigned to it in the explanation to section number 144. That means, in case auditor being an individual, either himself or through his relative or any person connected to, though directly or indirectly only they are explaining that what is directly or indirectly. So me or my relative or any person who has control or has an influence on me, if me or that person is also involved, then he will be disqualified. So this only they have described. Okay. So this is because of the directly or indirectly. Now section number 144 of the Companies Act prescribes certain services not to be rendered by the auditor. So that means if the auditor is rendering any such type of services, then he will become disqualified to become the auditor. An auditor appointed under this act shall provide to the company only such of the services as are approved by the BOD. Okay. And if he is involved in any of the following categories, any of the following services, then he will be not be eligible, he will be disqualified to become the auditor. Okay. So this is this disqualification. and any other kind of service as may be prescribed. Now, any other kind includes all other services. Okay, it may be noted that an auditor or audit firm who or which has been performing any non-audit services on or before the commencement of this act shall comply with the provisions of this section before the closure of first financial year after the date of such commencement. That means if the auditor, because non-audit activities involve accounting and all, right? So if before becoming the auditor, the person has involved any non-audit services before, okay, before becoming the auditor, then he shall comply with the provisions of this section before the closure of the first financial year. Okay, so this is it. Please read this out, this especially. This line is important. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now moving on to the examples, then I'll continue with the next topic from the next class. CA portion is providing the service of investment banking. So is it in the section number 144? Yes. So he will become disqualified. Right. Now what are they saying? Oh God, what is this? Later on, he was also offered to be appointed as an auditor. So should he be appointed? No. Advise करना है आपको. So you have to advise. So no. Obviously no. Why? Because section number 144 disqualifies any person for appointment as an auditor who directly or indirectly renders any services referred to in the section number 144. Now please just note down that how they have written the answer. They first mentioned the provision, then they have written about the case, and then they have written the conclusion, right? So in the similar way, you have to write your answer. I hope it is clear, because he is involved in investment banking, and investment banking is a part of section number 144. That is why he will be disqualified to become the auditor. Okay. Now what is this? Fourth point. Where a person appointed as an auditor of a company incurs any of the following disqualifications mentioned in subsection 3, after his appointment, he shall vacate his office as an auditor, and such vacancy shall be deemed to be a casual vacancy. Now, what happened was, first, Mr. Ramit was qualified to become the auditor. Okay, he was eligible to become the auditor. He became the auditor. But what happened? He incurred any of the following disqualification. He attracted any of the above discussed disqualification. So he shall vacate the office, and that vacancy shall be termed as casual vacancy. Okay. Case study they have given. Facts of the case. Mr. A, a chartered accountant, has been appointed as an auditor of Lakshman Limited in the AGM of the company held in September number 2016. Which assignment he accepted. Okay, in September 2016, he was a CA. He was the auditor. He was appointed as the auditor. Now what happened? Subsequently, in January 2017, he joined Mr. B, another CA who is a manager finance of Lakshman Limited, as a partner. Now managers finance. Is it here? Yes, it is here. So again, this is attracted disqualification. Now what will happen is, see, they have first mentioned the provisions and explanation. Who is a partner or employment of officer or employee will be disqualified. Now because he is a partner or in employment of a person as an employee of the person. So this is in section number 144 also, and this is here also. This disqualification is also there. This one. Okay, so this disqualification is attracted. Initially it was not attracted, but afterwards it became so, because subsequently in January 2017 he joined Mr. B, okay, who is the manager finance. So that means partner of this person is involved in the employment, right? So that is why he will become disqualified. Now because he became disqualified, he shall be deemed to have vacated his office as an auditor. So conclusion is, in the present case, Mr. A is an auditor joined as partner with Mr. B. The given situation has attracted subsection 3, and therefore he shall be deemed to have vacated office of the Lakshman Limited in accordance with the subsection 4 of section number 141. Okay, so I hope that I could help you in understanding this topic number 1. Now from the next class we will start from the appointment of auditor. Okay, so till then, take care, stay safe at your homes, in your homes, and just keep working hard. I'll soon come back with another video. Okay, so ending this video here, and thank you so much.